It's time to take advantage of those loyalty reward programs and use them towards your gas. Everyone is talking about the disruption in the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for oil exports. Higher oil prices mean Canadians, as well as the rest of the world, are paying more at the gas pumps. And if oil is more expensive, that means food prices and travel costs also rise. And rising prices means more inflations. Me and my sister did a video about different types of inflations and how it impacts Canadians and how it's calculated. I'm going to link it in the description below. It's being said that Toronto gas prices could soar above $2 per liter as the war continues into April. So we're talking about in the range of $2.15 to $2.20 per liter. On the other hand, oil and gas prices could come down just as quickly if the disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz ease. It's important to note that half the world's supply of urea and a third of its supply of ammonia run through the strait. So meat, dairy, and liquids tend to be more impacted by energy costs than other categories. Great time to be vegan, but imported fruits and vegetables will also see inflation due to the rise in transport costs. Overall, higher gas prices could mean food inflation in the range of 6% for some time, adding an additional $300 to $400 in food costs this year for families. So what does this have to do with mortgages? Increased inflation means that the Canadian government bond yields will rise, pushing up fixed rates, and we're already seeing that. If your mortgage is up for renewal in late May, June, or later, there's a possibility that the rates will be even higher, along with higher gas prices and higher food costs. Ron Butler even suggests that if you have an offer for a renewal from your bank and the rate is below 4%, take it. Of course, you need to consider whether you plan on selling soon and consult a mortgage agent if you want to discuss your future plans, but that's objectively a pretty good rate given the circumstances. So will we be able to withstand this shock? Something like this happened a few years ago when Russia first invaded Ukraine and there was a shock in the oil supply. We were able to withstand that. I think at that point, maybe countries started letting out some of their oil reserves, or Russia found ways to work around the sanctions that were placed on them. I think what's more important is to understand what we as consumers learned about managing those types of pressures a couple years ago, and whether this is a similar situation where there can be workarounds found. Without the strait being fully open, it's harder to figure out workarounds for sanctioned nations, but we'll have to pay close attention to see how negotiations and talks go. So perhaps consumer spending will also decrease, and that might help us offset inflation. But regardless, this reduces the chances of further rate cuts for a while if you're on a variable mortgage. The longer this conflict continues, the worse the cost of living is going to get.